It doesn't matter if it's from the dollar store or it's a higher quality brand. If you don't take care of them, they're not gonna last. Well, good morning, guys. Welcome back to Poorboys Little Homestead / Papaw's place. Guys, today I'm out here cleaning up my sprayers, and I thought, well, what a good time to give y'all some tips. Because some of you just getting into homesteading and gardening and stuff, or maybe you get aggravated with your sprayers because they always stopped up or they ain't working. Well, a lot of that's your own fault. I'm out here this morning, and this one right here come from the dollar store. I've bought several of these through my life. I think now they up to about $15 at the dollar store. Used to you get them for $5. I remember buying them for $3. Now, yeah, they are cheaper made, and the little ends right here, they give you a little trouble. But one of the main things with these is keeping your pump up sprayers clean. Now, if you use them on a regular basis, no, you ain't gonna dump them out and wash them and clean them every time. But when you ain't gonna use them for a few weeks, especially when you put them up for long-term storage or you sprayed and you just put it up and you done with it, you leave your chemicals in there, whatever you're spraying, well, that's the major no-no right there. If you'll take these pump-up sprayers, fill them up with water, rinse them around, pour them out, put you some more fresh water in it, and then put your pump back in there, pump it up, get your line, spray it, and get all your line cleaned out with clean water. Then you need to pour the water back out, pump it back up, and spray it to where it ain't nothing but air comes in there. And that's where a lot of people mess up. They'll might wash it and they might pump water, but they leave the water and don't go through the next step of pumping it and letting the water get all sprayed out of the hose. So these things is bad about gumming up right here. And you can take them apart. Just unscrew this little deal. Most of them's all the same. It'll have a little spring and a little nozzle. They usually get gummed up. And I know some of you used them where you push your button and then it just sprays and it won't go back off. That's because that little valve's gummed up in there dirty. You need to take it apart and clean it. But my biggest problem with these little cheap ones here, I call it, is pumping them up. I'll pump them up too tight and they'll bust that seam right there. And it seems like, especially since the COVID come out and our quality in our materials and all went down, service also, I've had 2 this year that I over pumped and it busted that seam right there on the bottom. But when I done that, I still had a jug off another old one that I was able to take 2 pump-up sprayers and make 1. Now you can see this one here was a better quality sprayer. I don't remember what brand that was, but it had a much better handle, much better tip, but yet I put it on the old jug because this jug was still good. And that's just one of them dollar store jugs. But I got a good sprayer here, as long as I don't mess up and over pump it. And it don't matter if you're using one of these small ones. They work on the same principle. You just need to keep them clean when you get done with it. Empty them out, put fresh water in them, shake them up, pour that out, put you some more fresh water in it. Pump it up good, get all the valves cleaned out. And these little sprayers will last a long time. I think I've had this in here going on 3 years now. But I got me another good one. Now years ago I had me a good metal pump up sprayer, and guys, that thing lasted me about 10 years. But what got me is while I was working away from home, I come home one time and I sprayed around the yard. I didn't have this garden then. I sprayed around the yard and stuff. Well, I left my Roundup weed killer in there and I went back off to work. I stayed gone for several months. And I come home and I pumped it up, gonna use it. Well, of course, every time I was gonna use it, it'd start stopping up because that's metal. It'll rust in there. But it had done eat through it and made a hole in the bottom. Well, I never would get another one. I just kept using them cheaper ones there, but I finally got me another good one. This here's a VEVOR. Now, I got this off of Amazon. The other one I had wasn't a VEVOR brand, but it was metal. But guys, this is a good pump up sprayer. Everything's metal on it, brass tip, good heavy duty handle. But at the same time, it don't matter how good this is made if you don't keep it clean. And before I forget, when I'm saying clean it, when you get done, clean it, take it apart and store it upside down until it all airs out. Don't just screw this back on there with the moisture in it and store it. Leave it open when you store it until they dry out. But back to the VEVOR here. This I've been using a few weeks now, and it's pretty dadgum handy. Now what I like about this one, because I'm bad about, like I said, over pumping and building up too much pressure and busting the seams in them plastic ones, this one here's got a pressure valve on it. You pump it up, and when it starts getting up there toward that red, you don't need to pump no harder. So you're going to overpressure your tank. And these tanks, you can see where the seams is made. If you overpressure them, you'll end up busting. Even though they're metal, you'll end up making them leak around them seams. So I like this one because it comes with a pressure gauge. It also got a good Papaw valve. Now I'm going to stop again and I'm going to go back. I made the statement about the quality of our materials since the COVID. Guys, this one right here, these two cheap ones don't even have a pop-off valve, but you can buy some of these with a pop-off valve on them. Now, by all means, that pop-off valve should pop open to release the pressure before it busts the seam in the tank. But that one I was telling you about the other day I did, I can't remember what brand it was, but it was plastic. It had a pop-off valve. And it still let me pump the pressure and bust the seam in the tank before the pressure valve went off. That ain't supposed to happen. The pressure valve's supposed to go off before the quality of the material let the tank pump. And actually, guys, that was one I bought. I look it up and I put the name brand in the screen here, but it was one of the better knowns that you see sold everywhere. And it was a higher one. I think it was about $30 for one, just a little bitty 1 gallon one like this. Didn't last me about 4 times using it, because I'm like, I can't over pump this one because it's got a pop-off valve. Well, yeah, I over pumped it and it busted that seam right there. Pop-off valve didn't do nothing. So even though these have got pop-off valves, I like the idea of this one having a gauge on it that you can watch when you're pumping it up, and when it gets up there close to that red, you know you pumped up high enough. Another thing I like about this is all metal. It ain't got the screw on top here. It's got what I call a half latch. You just stick it down there and turn it halfway and it latches. But see, it's like the old style back in the older days. It tells you the oil here. Put you a few drops of oil on there. Again, it don't matter the quality of it. If you don't keep them clean, these valves right here gum up, but you can take this apart even though this is all metal. Brass inside, brass tips. With that being all brass inside, it should last quite a while. This is a VEVOR. Got it off Amazon, and I will put a link in the description below. And I think they're gonna give me a discount code that I can put down there for y'all and get a little discount code if you would like to have one of these. Now the only drawback I have, which ain't got nothing to do with the sprayer itself, it has to do with the packaging. When this come to me in the box, it had my hose here kinked over real sharp like that and real sharp like that. So now the hose has got that weak spot, and that's where it wants to kink. So what I'm gonna have to do is undo my little clamp, cut that piece of hose off where it's kinked, and put it back on there, because it's in the box so long it's got a permanent kink there, and that's what it wants to close off. But that has nothing to do with the product. That just has to do with how it was packaged. All of them may not come like this one did. This one may have been packed by no telling who, and they just shoved it in the box and wasn't paying attention. But anyway, that's an easy fix, just by undoing the clamp and cutting my hose off. Guys, and again, it don't matter what price you pay for them, what they are. If you don't keep them clean, get that chemicals and stuff out of them when you get through, they're not going to last. Also, you need to just give them a good clean out in the inside every now and then. No matter how careful you think you are when you out here filling up sprayers and stuff, you're going to get a little trash in there. You're going to get a little piece of grass in there, and it don't take nothing to stop these tips up. But when you buy a better quality sprayer, you get better quality tips here. These little, see, you can take that off, and you can take them holes right there, and you can actually see through them big old holes. You stick you something through there and unstop them. You go back to these dollar store ones, comes with these little ends like this. They get stopped up. I can tell you right now, you go poking something in there, you cause yourself more issue, because that's just a thin rubber, plastic or rubber. But once you go to poking in there and you make that little slit bigger than what it needs to be, it won't never miss the same again. So the only way you can clean this, the best way to clean it, is just water and a little brush. You can pull that out. But if you go sticking something in there like you're gonna clean the hole out on some of them good sprayers, first thing you do, you stick your little piece of wire in there. I like using a torch tip cleaners, but you stick that in there, it makes that hole too big, and these things don't never spray right. Now, I got 2 backpack sprayers that I use with my mowing and tractor service, because some of you know I do mowing and such. But one of them's a name brand, and I'm gonna go on and tell you, the other one's from Harbor Freight. Let's go over here and look at them. All right, guys, I'm over here at my trailer where I keep these. This is my trailer I haul my lawnmowers and tractor on. This one here is the one, it's greenwood, but I got it from Harbor Freight. This other one here is a Champion Home and Garden. Can't remember where I got it, but my point is, this one here actually was, I'm saying half price, it was actually less than half price of what this Champion Home and Garden is. But the tank, you can tell, ain't as good a thick of material as this. Which that don't matter. It's been working. I've used this one longer than I had the Champion. I just needed 2 to have a backup. It's got a good long wand on this one that comes from Harbor Freight. But the tips, guys, it's just got a screw-on tip. And it comes with some extra tips. But like I was saying on them cheaper ones, when that tip stops up, if you go to poking something in it, you're gonna create your hole bigger than what's supposed to be in there, and then it won't never work the same. So that's the downfall of these cheaper ones, is the tips. Sound like Delta's finna get fed over there. But you can look in there and it got a little bitty slit. And like I said, if you stick something in there and you make that little slit open up, then it won't spray. It won't make the mist, the fan like it's supposed to. As long as you don't stick nothing in there and use water and a brush, which it gets aggravating when you out there spraying and it all of a sudden starts up, you gotta walk back to the sink. Or me, I'm off mowing other people's yards. I ain't got nowhere to come back to but my trailer and trying to get that clean. But for the price, this has been working out really well. I ain't had no trouble with it. Now, this is the Champion Home and Gardening. Like I said, it cost over twice the price of that one. But, and you see, they both all plastic. The valves on this one here ain't no better than the valves on that one. But the one thing I do like about it better is the tip. Even though it's plastic, you can unscrew the tip, and it's got them holes through there where you can just stick you a little, like I said, I use a torch tip cleaner, keep in my pocket. I can just stick through there and unstop it. So the tip is the main difference to me, which it ain't worth twice the price difference. But it's more handier when I'm walking around out there and it stops up. I can unscrew this, and most of the time you can just unscrew the tip and see how it blows, and it'll unstop itself. So where that one there, you have to go through the trouble of uncleaning, taking the tip off to clean it. Uncleaning, that ain't a word, is it? But guys, they both 4 gallons. 4 gallons is a little heavy for me to start out with, so I put about 3 gallons in them, plus that keeps it from sloshing any Roundup out on your back. But if you overfill them and pump them up, you will occasionally get a little leak. But guys, now you've seen all the sprayers. I was out here cleaning them up, and I thought, well, that'd be a good little video to give people tips and advice. Most people know this, but yet neglect it. I do the same thing. I'll let them sit too long with stuff in them, and then I have to take them apart. But even these cheap ones you can take apart. Like I said, when you push your button, start spraying, and it don't come up and let it cut off, you can take it apart right there, take that out, take you some soap and water and an old toothbrush. And don't use your toothbrush now. You might get something in your mouth you don't like. But use an old toothbrush and soap and water, and you can clean that up, and you can get these back to working. I've actually picked up a couple of these people was throwing away, and they'd be so gummed up not working, but I'd bring them home 15 minutes later, they'd be working good. But I think I'm really gonna like the VEVOR sprayer here. Like I said, I had one for years and years that was a good metal sprayer like this. It wasn't a VEVOR brand. But this looks like it's gonna be a good made one. I can't really tell how thick it is, but this here is the 6-liter one. The way it reads, look like, guys, you can get a model 4L, 6L, 8L, 10L, 12L, 14, 15, 13, 11, 9, 7, 16. So I guess you can get them from a 4-liter up to a 16-liter. But again, if you're interested in a good sprayer, there'll be a link in the description below, Amazon affiliated link. And I think I'm gonna have a discount code where y'all can get that. But so far, I've been loving this because it reminds me of my old one I had back in the day that was real good. But guys, if you're new to my channel and haven't never subscribed, please reach down there and hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. It don't cost you a thing, but it does help me on my YouTube channel. If you like these little videos, please give me a thumbs up and share them with your friends and loved ones on your social medias. That helps me grow my YouTube channel also. And as always, guys, I hope y'all have a blessed day. God bless. See y'all next time.